Thanks for joining us here tonight. I'm joined by U.S. Senator of Arizona, John McCain, who joins us here tonight. 5 terms as a senator, going for your 6th now, correct? Yep. So let's get right to it. As I'm sure you know, here in Yuma, unemployment, jobs is a constant issue. Unemployment rates now lie above 20%. Many families wondering where they're going to get their next meal from. How are they going to take care of their family? As a senator of Arizona, what plans may you have in place to try and help stimulate economic growth in the region?
Well, here in Yuma, obviously the Marine Corps Air Station and Yuma Proving Grounds are important sources of employment. We just passed also an education reform bill through the Congress signed by the President, which will fundamentally return a lot of the authority and responsibility for education back where it belongs, to the state and local authorities. Third of all, we just passed a highway bill for the first time in, I believe, 8 years, and it calls for a thing called the Sonoran Corridor, which takes a highway from Sonora up through southern Arizona, around Tucson, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Canada. Someday there will be a corridor going all the way from Mexico to Canada. The southern impact will first be built in southern Arizona. The impact on that, goods and services moving back and forth. Third, we have to increase the funding for and manning of our border ports of entry. Now they are short because we're short of personnel. And finally, we have to make some investments. We have to make some investments in our roads, in our education, and also in businesses to make the area attractive for businesses to locate. I'm proud of the fact that 70% of the lettuce that's consumed in America every winter is grown right here in Yuma. So we got to continue to support agriculture, but we're also going to have to try to attract other businesses and enterprises. We can do that because we do have all the elements for it.
And I've spoken to many veterans. Of course, Yuma with MCS, Yuma and several other facilities is a very military town. You yourself, a veteran, a war hero. Many veterans I've spoken to say that they're having issues with the VA, the local VA clinic, other ones across Arizona. Of course, with the recent VA scandal up in Phoenix, what plans do you have in place in the future to try and make sure these veterans get their health, medical needs in a timely fashion?
We passed a VA reform bill to reform the VA about a year ago that I was the co-author of. Also, I sponsored another bill that tries to address this terrible issue of veteran suicide. 8,000 veterans a year commit suicide. That's unacceptable. But back in the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention Act, which I wrote, tries to assist that in early counseling, detection, a lot of other reasons. But back to the VA. It all started in the Phoenix VA, as you know, 50 people on a non-existent waiting list that died. The major reform that we made was a choice card. Right now, if someone lives further than 40 miles from the appropriate VA facility or has waited for a longer period of time, they can have a card and go out to the provider of their choice. Now look, the VA does very good work on traumatic brain injury, prosthesis, PTSD, but on other medical needs, a veteran should be able to go to the local healthcare provider and get their help. Now, that has turned out to be very popular, but now we need to remove all restrictions from it. And finally, they need to fire some people. They need to fire some people. Only one person of this whole scandal that's gone on has been actually fired. That's disgraceful.
Thank you, sir. And before you go, I have to ask, with the upcoming presidential election, very heated election, especially on the Republican side with so many candidates, you've supported Lindsey Graham. I believe you say, quote, that he was like a brother to you. Now, recently, with him dropping out of the race, do you have someone you'd like to endorse now? No,
I do not. I want to stay out of it, at least for the time being. It was obvious why I was supporting Lindsey Graham. There's a number of people that are running that I could support. So it's best for me at the moment to stay out of it. And frankly, I've got my own campaign to run, and I'm not taking anything for granted.
Thank you, sir. And we here at 13 on Your Side, we wish you well and hope you have a wonderful New Year. Thanks for stopping by with us here today.